Hello, dear listeners, and welcome back to Book Summary 5, the 5-Minute Summary channel. I'm Sammy, your host, and today we're diving into The Color Purple by Alice Walker. This Pulitzer Prize-winning novel is a powerful and poetic story about pain, survival, sisterhood, and transformation. Told through a series of letters, some written to God, some to a beloved sister, it captures the voice of a woman who begins in silence and shame and gradually finds her way to self-worth, joy, and love. Set in the American South in the early 20th century, The Color Purple doesn't flinch from the realities of racism, sexism, and abuse, but it also shines with hope, resilience, and the power of connection. Let's walk through this deeply moving story so you'll feel like you've read it cover to cover. We begin with Celie, a 14-year-old black girl in rural Georgia, writing a letter to God. Her voice is plain and raw. She's been raped by the man she believes is her father, and she's already had 2 children taken from her. Her mother is ill, her world is small, and her spirit is already bruised. She's told not to speak about what's happened, so instead she writes. These letters become her only outlet for pain, her way of surviving in a world where she is treated as invisible. Celie is eventually married off to a man she refers to only as Mr., a cruel, violent man who only wants her to raise his children and keep his house. Celie lives under his roof like a servant, silenced and beaten, with no real affection. The only source of light in her life is Nettie, her younger sister, who is smart, hopeful, and fiercely loyal. But when Nettie resists Mr.'s advances, she is thrown out, and the sisters are separated. Celie believes Nettie is lost to her forever. Time passes. Celie endures. And then comes Shug Avery, a blues singer, sultry and independent, and Mr.'s longtime lover. Celie is drawn to her instantly. Shug is everything Celie has never been allowed to be: bold, sexual, and free. When Shug falls ill and comes to stay in Mr.'s home, an unexpected friendship begins. And that friendship becomes the turning point in Celie's life. Shug sees Celie, truly sees her, and through Shug's affection, Celie begins to see herself in a new light. Their relationship deepens into a tender love, and with Shug's encouragement, Celie starts to push back against Mr.'s abuse and reclaim her voice. She discovers hidden letters, dozens of them, from Nettie, who has been writing to her for years. Mr. had hidden them. Celie devours the letters, which recount Nettie's life as a missionary in Africa, her work with an African family, and the stunning revelation that Celie's children are alive and Nettie has been raising them. These letters spark a transformation in Celie. She leaves Mr. She moves in with Shug. She begins sewing pants, simple, strong, and stylish, and turns that skill into a business. Bit by bit, she builds a life of her own, a life not defined by abuse or silence, but by work, friendship, and freedom. Her letters shift, too. They are no longer addressed to God, but to her sister, her friend, herself. Her language grows stronger, more confident. Celie, once meek and overlooked, becomes a woman of agency, voice, and joy. The novel doesn't tie everything up with a bow, because life doesn't. There is still pain, there are still betrayals. Shug leaves for a while. Nettie faces her own struggles. But the core of the story is this: healing is possible. People can change. Even Mr., broken by his own bitterness, begins to soften and reflect. And when Celie and Nettie are finally reunited after decades apart, it's not just a joyful reunion, it's a full-circle moment of wholeness and homecoming. The Color Purple is a novel about voices rising where there was once silence, about women loving each other into strength, and about finding divinity not just in church or scripture, but in nature, in beauty, in laughter, in yourself. The title itself is a nod to the idea that God is not confined to doctrine, but present in the smallest details of life: the color purple in a field, a moment of joy, a deep connection between people. Thank you for tuning in to Book Summary 5, the 5-Minute Summary channel. If you were moved by this look at the color purple, please subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. Until next time, happy reading. And remember, sometimes the most powerful transformation begins with a single letter and the courage to tell your story.